Pali word metta is used referring to that goodwill or affection towards others, absence of ill will that matures in time to a feeling of loving kindness. The practice of loving kindness is one of the 4 Brahma Viharas. Brahma Vihara meaning divine abidings. Those noble states of mind which begin to appear once the mind is purified of its grosser aspects of greed, hatred, anger, etc. True metta, true loving kindness, only arises in the mind of one who understands the truth and what is really the cause of suffering. Unconditional loving kindness is a very high state of mind that contains within it the understanding of what happiness is. For when we make reflection, may all beings be happy, we have to understand what real happiness might be. But for one who wishes to engage initially in the practice of loving kindness, it is nevertheless very worthwhile to do. For loving kindness at any level is an antidote to anger and ill will, and we should use it just as diligently and practice it with just as much conviction as we practice vipassana in our efforts to let go our craving and attachment. So how does the Buddha instruct us to develop loving kindness? He makes reflection that in order to feel real loving kindness as a unified state, we must break down the barriers of partiality that incline us with favor to certain beings over others. For loving kindness is an unconditioned state that does not favor one being over another. And he teaches us to develop loving kindness in a specific order and for very good reason. Though loving kindness is designed as an antidote in the initial stages to overcome the hindrance of resentment and ill will, we do not start initially by sending our loving kindness to those with whom we are angry or who we feel resentful towards, for that resentment will swiftly overcome any goodwill that we might seek to establish. So who do we begin by sending loving kindness to? We begin by sending loving kindness to ourselves. For until we have learned to love ourselves for the person that we are, we cannot truly love another unconditionally, fearlessly. And it is important when we make reflection, may I be happy, that it isn't a prayer that one day I may become the person that I dream of becoming, that I may become this ideal that I aspire to. It's a reflection, may I love the person who I already am, right now as I am, with all my imperfections, with all my unusual traits and characteristics, with all my unreasonableness, all my worries, etc. If we were to wait until we were a fully perfected, realized being before we could develop love for ourselves, it would be a very sorry state of affairs. Besides, love at that stage pours forth spontaneously in the heart of one who is delivered from suffering. So we have to start with an act of forgiveness. we have to make reflection that those deeds that I have done in the past, about which I feel guilty, those deeds that make me feel some sense of loathsomeness towards myself, were done out of ignorance, misunderstanding, in a state of confusion. I forgive myself completely for this confusion. I'm making every effort not to do such things again. I shall extend goodwill and love to myself. We let go all regret and remorse, for they do nothing but weigh down the mind. And this forgiveness is a total and utter forgiveness, even if we haven't made full sense of our negligence in the past. I forgive myself completely, utterly, unconditionally for all my past misdeeds, mistakes, and negligence. May I be happy. And we have to forgive others who may have harmed us, for we cannot carry that with us. We cannot feel happy while we carry the burden of hurt felt on account of that which others have done towards us. I forgive completely all those who have done any deed that has upset me or created suffering or misery within me. May I be happy. And when we send loving kindness to ourselves, how do we do so? We avert our attention to the heart itself, from which the feeling of love arises. And in the heart base, in the light, in the bhavanga clear mind element, in the base of the heart, we picture ourselves truly happy and at peace with ourselves as the person that we are. And we extend that feeling of goodwill and loving kindness to ourselves. May I be happy. Be happy. See yourself inside your heart and begin your practice by sending loving kindness and forgiveness to yourself. May I be happy. May I be happy. Be happy. Sukhino wakemino hontu sabe sata bhavantu sukhitata. May all beings be happy. Having thus extended that feeling of goodwill towards ourselves, a feeling of warmth arises within the heart as a basis for that affection and goodwill that we intend to send to others. This is the very foundation, for the feeling of sukha, happiness, must appear in the heart. The absence of dukkha, or suffering, must be noticeable for any goodwill or loving kindness to arise. So we must first gladden our heart in preparation for the practice of metta. May I be happy. We might reflect upon gratitude for all the good fortune we have experienced in our lives, to further gladden our heart, so that feeling of goodwill is more buoyant, more uplifted within us. And when the body feels warm and comfortable and at ease, not stiff and painful and agitated or restless, we begin to extend that loving kindness to others. And to whom do we send that loving kindness first? We should not send it directly to those who are dear to us, for the tendency is for the attachment that we have to these people to appear within this feeling of goodwill and undermine it. For it needs to be understood that loving kindness and goodwill is a wholesome state that arises in the absence of attachment. So we begin by sending loving kindness to some good person or noble person who we know, whose qualities we admire, but to whom we are not attached. We reflect upon their good qualities, the example they might set, and make reflection. May this good person be happy. And we picture them inside our heart. And we see them happy as we could ever imagine them being. And we see them smile, and we send them love. May all beings be happy. Concentration upon the object of your loving kindness determines its depth. Concentrate clearly upon each individual as you send loving kindness to them. May all beings be happy, be happy. Keeping the mind deeply calm and peaceful, not over-elated or excited. May all beings be happy, be happy. Sukhino wakemino hontu sabe sata bhavantu sukhitata. And once your feeling of goodwill to this person has arisen, you reflect upon those who are dear to you. But only one person at a time. Just take a single person and do not worry about who to choose. Once you have developed your practice, you can in time send loving kindness to everyone. Just take a single person who is dear to you and see them in your heart and see them smile and send them your love. May all beings be happy, be happy. Sukhino vakemino hontu sabe sata bhavantu sukhitata. May all beings be happy. May all beings be happy, be peaceful. And when your feeling of love for this person is strong within you, and your body is warm and radiant with that feeling of love, you bring to mind a neutral person, someone of whom you are aware, but to whom you have no particular connection. Maybe someone who works in your local shop, or drives a bus that you ride daily, but to whom you never speak. And you make reflection, may this good person, like me, be happy. This person is no different to me. They too seek happiness in their lives, as everyone does. See them in your heart and send them your love, knowing that you will never receive anything back from them without a trace of need for anything back. May all beings be happy. Sukino wa kemi no hontu. Sabe sata bhavantu sukhitata. May all beings be happy. May all beings be happy. And once you have a feeling of loving kindness within you, that is pervasive and even and calm and peaceful, then you might bring to mind someone who you might consider to be your enemy. And with the previously established loving kindness as the support, you extend goodwill to this person in spite of the wrongs they may have done. And you forgive them. May all beings be happy and free from suffering. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be happy. Forgiveness, gratitude, and loving kindness. May all beings be happy. Suki no akemi no hontu. Sabe sata bhavantu sukhitata. And in this way you should break down the barriers of partiality and develop an evenness to your goodwill and loving kindness that does not favor one over another. And if you are still unable to extend loving kindness to your enemy, then make reflection. That wrong which they may have done to me was done in the past, while I sit here now practicing loving kindness. They are not wronging me in any way. Why now, in this moment, should I feel such ill will? Far better that I feel loving kindness, that I forgive them. But if this reflection is not enough to break down your ill will, you make reflection. This anger that I feel towards this person harms no one but myself. It is as if, in trying to harm them, I throw sand in their face. Only throwing it into the wind, it blows back into my own face. What good, what purpose does this aversion serve but to create misery within me? And let go this anger with such a reflection as this. May all beings be happy. May all beings be happy. And if this fails, reflect upon the law of karma. Having willed, I act. That volition that prompts my actions is karma. If this person has wronged me, that misdeed was done in unwholesome volition, that will produce misery for them in the future. If I react to them in aversion, it will only produce misery for me in the future. Much better I send love to them that their anger may subside, along with my own, so that neither of us may experience the fruiting of weighty unwholesome karma produced by habitual and deep-seated anger and hatred. May all beings be happy. May all beings be happy. Or another way we may reflect. I am angry with this person on account of what? Reflect upon the characteristic of this person that has angered you, and look within to see if there is not some goodness within this person whom you are angry with. They are unlikely to be a wholly loathsome person. And reflect with generosity of spirit upon their good qualities, and find some foothold for your goodwill and send them loving kindness. May all beings be happy. In this way we should reflect in the early stages of loving kindness, knowing that aversion and anger is prohibiting the arising of true feeling of goodwill, and that only when we overcome our agitation, anger, hatred, and ill will towards others can a true feeling of love appear in our heart. We make this practice of breaking down the barriers of partiality a regular practice in the early stages of loving kindness, until we can, with honesty, review the field and make reflection, I have let go all those feelings of ill will to all beings. I cannot bring a single being to mind for whom I harbour a trace of ill will. Truly it could be said that I feel goodwill to all beings when I make reflection, may all beings be happy. I truly mean it. And once we have reached this stage in our practice, we turn to the abiding in loving kindness. We bring the feeling, the experience of goodwill to mind, prompting it in one way or another, through the reflection of the desire for happiness of others, or the spontaneous arising of goodwill within us when we reflect with appreciative joy and gratitude upon our good fortune, or the sense of peace we have begun to discover in our lives. And we take this feeling of love itself, and we begin to pervade that loving kindness to all directions, to the front, to the back, to the left, to the right, above, below. In all directions we allow this feeling of loving kindness to radiate out from within us, filling the field around us with love, until we sit in our own sea of goodwill and loving kindness, and take the feeling that is experienced with the absence of dukkha and the arising of sukha, happiness, and we take that feeling itself and enter into concentration upon it and stabilize the mind and develop our boundless loving kindness. May all beings in all directions, without exception, be free from suffering, be happy, be peaceful. May all beings be happy. Yanida Buddhani Sammagatani
Mumani vayanne vahandaliki Sabewa Buddha Sumana Pavantu Atopi Sacaca Sunhantu Pasitang Tasmahi Buddha Nisameta Sabe Metang karota manusaya pacaya Diwakarato caharanti paling Tasmahi nehakata hapamata Yanida Bhutani Sammakatani Umani Vayanne Vahantaleke Tathagatam Deva Manusa Pujitam Buddhang nama samma suhati hotu Yanita bhutani sammakatani Umani vayanne vahantaleke Tathagatam Deva Manusa Pujitam Dhammang Nama Samma Suvati Hotu Yanita Bhutani Sammakatani Umani vayanne vahantaleke Tathagatam Deva Manusa Pujitam Sanghang Namma Samma Suhati Hotu Yanita Bhutani Sammakatani Umani vayanne vahantaleke Tathagatam Deva Manusa Pujitam Buddhang nama samma suhati hotu Dhammang nama samma suhati hotu Sanghang nama samma suhati hotu Buddhang nama samma suhati hotu Dhammang nama samma suhati hotu Sanghang nama samma suhati hotu Buddhang nama samma suhati